What's up there? It's Alecia Maximo of Vynora. She's hanging out here with my good self, Haleigh Overseth, Franki's podcast network, and FrankiVerse Media. What's up, Amax? Vynora, sis, how you doing?
What's up, girl? Thank you for the warm welcome. Welcome to the Vynora Effect. I have my partner in crime, my creative guru, my think tank girl, Haleigh Overseth, joining us today. So, this episode, what we're going to be speaking about, diving into, of course, we're going to have some fun. But yeah, we are in the midst of our origin stories, our bringing up our upbringings, how we choose our own experience and our own life before we're born into our baby bodies. So let's dive in. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the human experience,
Girl,
but experiencing the human experience in real time.
experiencing the human experience in real time and being present in the moment while also sort of trying to reframe your origin story to your superpower benefit, right? Like, because we were talking a little bit about how the households we grew up in had different sort of parental dynamics. Like, I'm from a like modern family, parents divorced and remarried, and like being at mom and stepdad's house was very different from being at dad and stepmom's house. And so you had to sort of learn both of those frequency bands and have that kind of ability to balance and understand duality. And it's the choice that you have to make is, do I be the chameleon and be what I have to be here and there, or do I just be me in both places? Right. And I think so. I chose before I came in here into my baby body and incarnated as a human, like in this like particular time space timeline where we're doing the things, right? I had to have chosen that for the ability to understand both of those frequencies, right? So how do I, as the timeline that I've had, sort of look at my experiences in life and see where I can use the frequencies I learned to my benefit somehow, right? And
Mhm.
we're kind of in
Yeah.
the journey of how to do that.
Yeah, to back to what you were saying, Haley, it's all about the balance of the lifestyle and choices that you're making. You and I have very similar complexes when it comes to mom and dad, where the upbringing of being in a suburban neighborhood, growing up in a suburban household, but also on the other side of the family spectrum, it's more of a free-for-all, do what you got to do to get by and survival mode, right? So it's like
Mhm.
we're at a crossroads where we're dealing with like a strict parent household, but then we have the other side. They're like, oh, I trust my child. I believe that I'm raising them correctly to make the right decisions for their life. So it's like when we get, I would say, to the age between 10 and 18, it's like, what's the best decision that's going to make sure that we're okay as an individual, but also we have the pressure of making that strict parent proud, or what decision's going to ruin their perception of who they think their child is and what we want in our lives while we come into the adult form. So it brings up the question of like, when we are born into, when our spirit is born into our bodies and we're choosing our parents, we're choosing this challenge called life. It's like, what's the
This
best,
challenge called life. I love that. That
like,
belongs on
what's
a t-shirt.
right? Like, what's the best pathway or what's the best, I would say, guideline or pathway to go down on or towards that journey to become closer to your higher self from the adolescent and to the adult form. And I feel like you and I have that in common, where we have the prime examples of growing up in these different households, but making the decision of like, no, like when I turn 18, this is what I want to do with my life. I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be a lawyer. Why are my parents stressing me at 15-year-olds about health insurance and car insurance? We weren't caring about that stuff when we were teenagers. We were living it up,
Girl,
outside and
when I
before
turned 18,
iPads. Go ahead.
oh, girl, let's talk about that. Like, no, when I turned 18, I went and got a tattoo because I could, because like you can't tell me not to now. And
Right.
so like it's interesting. No, it's interesting to kind of think about and reframe some of your past experiences. Like, because the thing about like even the age you're talking about, 10 to 18, right, is there are a lot of sort of character building, as in I have a choice to kind of like It's the sort of people pleasing versus doing what you want to do for yourself regardless, right? And it's
Mhm.
not an easy thing to do. We did like it is a challenge. We did choose a challenge for ourselves because
Right.
we're in a paradigm of
Mhm.
do I, because this is what it kind of comes down to, right? Do I please the system and the expectations of my external reality wherever it comes from, whether that's, say it comes from social media, say it comes from your family, say it comes from
Mhm.
wherever, right? Or do I choose to just say, okay, well, what feels right for me? What feels good for me?
Mhm.
What is it that makes me really happy? Because at the end of the day, if you're not happy, well, then what's the point of the experience? I mean, yes, you can learn things, but if you're not enjoying the learning process or the journey that you're on, that should say to you, okay, I need to reassess something, right? And I think that's kind of where we are too, energetically, in all of the various projects we have going on, right? Where it's like, okay, I need to really hone in on what lights me up, because if any of all of these different opportunities I have in the field haven't landed solidly yet, it must be because like my reality, the frequencies I'm giving off, doesn't know where I really want to be.
Mhm.
So like that's why you have to choose your highest joy, right? So that the life, the world, the existence around you that you chose, that gave you the free will opportunity, here's this frequency band of being really strict, here's this frequency band that looks more like freedom. Which one do you prefer? Where do you
Mhm.
want to be? They're both valid paths. They're both valid things to experience as a human. There's no thing that you have to do or have to learn. Like it's up
Mhm.
to you. It's your experience. You get to choose it. Which frequency band do you want to be in? And
Right.
that's kind of where we're at now energetically, is like,
Mhm.
okay, we've got all these different things available in the field, things that are possible. The things that solidify are the ones where I decide to put my energy, whether that's my thoughts, my actions, my emotions, whatever it is. So, talk to me about where you're at on the journey,
Yeah.
like Amax. Like, what's going on in your
Of
perception
course. Well,
energetically?
I would say as far as frequency wise, between the freedom and then the discipline, it's like we're very blessed to have those options or to have that type of upbringing because it created more of you know, a comfortable type of nervous system growing up where we had a choice to make. I can go to school, I can get good grades and do this, or I can be creative in school and try to make that process work, right? When you're looking at the paradigm of those two frequencies, for me and my upbringing, I went to school for the experience, to be honest with you. I did study business, but I feel like the experience of being in a bubble at a very young age in high school and not having, I would say, the experience of having that freedom kind of put me in a different, like in a position where when I got to college, I kind of went a little crazy. I was like, oh, this
Well,
is
not
like in the
crazy.
movies and partying. Not crazy, that's like overboard. I mean, like, you look at your take
Well,
Bring It On, for example.
it's natural.
As
I
Yeah,
totally
exactly.
natural.
It's a natural experience as a teenager. You're looking at these movies, you're looking at this college experience, you're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't wait till I get there." Then you get there and it's like, "Oh, this is actually real life what they do in the movies." But I was going to say, I feel
Totally.
like having that transition, I had that freedom, but I was able to stay disciplined when it came to like drinking and partying and making sure I'm doing my book reports and getting good grades and stuff like that. So it was nice to learn how to balance the freedom, but also the strict discipline within myself of like, if I want to keep this lifestyle going on, I need to be disciplined and like at least follow the rules of the school and get good grades so I can stay here. So I feel like it can work and balance and go hand in hand, right? As far as what we learned from our parents and our upbringing of coming into adulthood from high school into college and making those decisions for ourselves. I didn't finish college. I dropped out because as far as the time and the money, I was like, okay, now we have access to YouTube and the internet and LinkedIn. We necessarily don't need a college degree to do anything that we want to do. And that was the freedom and the paradigm that I structured for myself, I would say at 23. And then it was up from there. And now we're here creating and healing the world and striving as prosperous women.
We are, and we're trying to build some. So what's coming up for me as you're talking is my baby sister, and you and I have had this conversation before,
Oh
right?
yes,
About
we're both good big
like,
sisters, right, Haleigh?
well, a lot of what we're doing is for our sisters, right? Like, we're trying to forge a path that looks different than what we were told was possible or expected for us,
Hmm.
right? And so, like, what I'm kind of thinking though is like, so okay, I'm thinking about like the college experience, and like my sister is not going to go back to school next year, and it's kind of a stressful thing in the family right now, right? That like
Mm.
she's not going to go back to school.
It's the
There's some
expectation.
there's some friction there, right? And like, but I was asking her even a couple of weeks ago when we're having a conversation about how she was feeling about school. She like, her heart's just not in it. She likes the experience of like the people and her friends, right? Kind of
Hmm.
like that's what you're saying, right? Like, you like the experience of the freedom and meeting people and having a new life experience, but your heart is not in the structured thing that you're doing.
Hmm.
And you're not, and this is what even she said, is like, she's not getting time or space to figure out what she really does love, right?
Hmm.
Like the exploration, like, because, and I think this is kind of part of why the school systems don't really work. They're not giving enough room to give people an opportunity to follow what they're interested in. There's too many things that you're expected to do. Like, okay, I get it, math, reading, and basics when you're younger, but you don't need to keep on doing that. Like, we don't need to continue that system, because look at, you leave anyway and start to figure out your own path anyway. Right.
Right.
And like, that's what I think a lot of students are facing. Because the other question I have is like, what opportunities, because look at what we're trying to do. We're trying to find a way to balance our life so that we're not always in front of a computer. We're out having experiences with people, right? And generating meaning for ourselves and in the world.
Hmm.
What kind of opportunities are really being offered to young people right now that look like that? You
Right.
know,
There's
like,
not much
there's
besides.
not.
Okay, yeah, we have the power of social media now where you can brand yourself out there and get a high following and create whatever you want to create and be prosperous. But then you have the option and the expectation of go to college, get the degree, and maybe get a high paying job and maybe buy a house. But the options are getting again the balance, right? Either
Hmm.
we're open up the paradigm now where we have the freedom to create our own choose an income, to connect with people all over the world through the internet and through travel. But you have the opportunity as far as college for the life experience. Like for my example, like I feel like if I didn't go to college and experience that, how would I be able to communicate or gain that life experience of trying to manage and handle schoolwork and like my social life, right? So it's like there
Hmm.
is a good experience being in that community and being surrounded by your peers and your students and the people that you're going to school with. But how do we take a step further of that, of building more of a community based off of your skill set, but also your life journey of where you see yourself going. I don't think that that needs to be part of the college curriculum when it comes to not just the classes, but like each individual has a different mission being part of that school system. And, as far as debt and all the money that your parents spent to put you through school, or even if you have to go on a scholarship or pay for yourself, where do you really end up after you get your college degree into whatever field you see yourself striving in? That's the main question, right? Where do we go to find those people, or where do we go to be open to that network to have more of an experience than just having your head in the book learning math problems or learning how to write a 10-page book report on historic
Hmm.
figures. you know?
The it is kind of interesting to me, the idea of how school does look like 9 to 5, right? Like, this is kind of what we're
Mhm,
talking about.
mhm,
And it is kind of, we really do have to create, like, what we are creating is creating new paradigms of how people operate and function day to day in their lifestyle, in their communities, how you have income or resources. Does that even necessarily need to look like currency and earning currency? they're like, we're even looking at paradigms of society, right? Like, and bring Murray Angel in here soon for a conversation about his energy exchange system that he like is building, right? That we want to utilize. There's so many more opportunities and options available to humanity of ways to operate that don't have to be the systemic things that we've known, right? So we are in the middle of the journey of figuring out how to
We
do
are,
that.
girl. We are. So
Like,
let's talk about it, right? People invest in people. That's how that's how all this works. You can have an MBA in business, you can read all the business book, all the guidelines, but to be honest with y'all, everyone that's listening, you are your own personal go-to guide, and the people that you're surrounding yourself with that are matching your frequency are your go-to guide to create the life that you want to live, to be honest, right? It's like everything that we're creating together, Haley, is so, how do you say, it's so monumental and it's been a long time coming. I feel like it's like we were meant to be here at the right
well,
time, divine timing, and now
right.
we are investing time into each other on these podcasts, doing content,
Yeah.
and exploring how the best ways that we can all work together and strive off of each other's content and funnels and etc. But it's more of the energy and the frequency that brought us together of like Haley and I need to come together to push out the content and to create world peace, or however you want to put it. What is the main mission we're doing together? People invest in
I
people. The
mean,
more that,
listen, our
yeah,
story is that we are just in a world that taught us not to be our authentic selves because it wasn't profitable.
you're right.
And here we are trying to say, like, there are so many other ways to define value than what we have been told. And
Mhm,
the first thing you have to do is define your own value to yourself.
mhm,
And there's such a culture of being responsible for everyone around you and for your effect on everyone around you, when really the best thing to do is focus on you. And that's kind of the conversation that we've been having of the redirection of
yeah,
energy, right? Like, if this is really what we want to be doing, this is what we need to be doing. And the way to support us in doing more of it will come as we continue to go along. And that's why I think that it is interesting to probably, for like, this is kind of like data collection. We're showing people in
yeah.
real time, like, okay, we're in this frequency band, we're in this high vibe frequency band. Let's see what we can really do with it. Like, let's see what we can draw in. Let's see who we can, like, the people in our sphere already that we have such high vibe and awesome people with really cool projects. And I might not have all the answers of how we get to the like beautiful, harmonious utopia of a world that I know is possible for all of us. But I know that if I hold the frequency and realize that it's possible and keep the faith with my
Mhm.
peeps, if we hold it down together, it will come to be. If you build it, it
Yeah.
will come.
Right. And the thing about that, Haley, is that since you are holding that space in that frequency, the universe is going to give you sprinkles, sprinkles, sprinkles. The universe knows when you're ready to accept and receive, right? Instead of holding yourself back or people pleasing, the universe is like, okay, should I give her this person to connect with, right? The universe is setting us up for success. We're just have to be ready and open and being open to that frequency to accept the abundance, to accept the divine opportunities that are set for us on this path and on this journey. But doing it together is the best way possible. Doing this by
It's
yourself,
so
I
much
do not
more
recommend.
fun.
It
Yes,
is.
guys, one star review to doing it by yourself. Okay, like 5 stars to doing it with your peeps and your soul fam.
Right.
Like, where do we
Exactly.
start? Where's
Exactly.
the platform that we start for that? And that's a whole new platform we have to start. Like, you get to rate like 1 star to this human experience, 3 stars to this human experience.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
go,
Because
you know what I'm
again,
saying? Like,
yeah, it's about the
going to the dentist
experience.
and getting my teeth cleaned, I would give like a 3, depending
Yeah.
on where I was at.
Well, that's never that fun, depending on, how
I love
bad
it.
your cleaning's gonna hurt on your teeth there.
Well,
But
yeah, it does, right? But like, let's see, this is a ratings app system game that we need to like build into the FrankiVerse of like rate your human experience. Like,
Right.
I was stuck in traffic today, and I was gonna give it a 2, but then a rad song came on my playlist, and that was
Mhm.
like brought it right up to a 4. Like it wasn't a 5, but it was a solid 4.
Yeah, and of course, like back to our people out there, especially in the paradigm of the 9 to 5 space, because that's what we are taught when we come out the womb, right? From born
For real,
until
that's
college. So
no
it's
joke.
like, right. So speaking of that, like for the human experience, not everyone's built to be an entrepreneur or a producer, podcast producer, or media expert
Yeah,
like yourself, right? There's some people out there that there's a space for you, either in
yeah,
content, marketing, creating, co-creating, what have you, whatever you're passionate about. It's possible today to create a stream of income for yourself based on your skill set and based on your
mhm,
experience as a human, right? We all have experience and skill sets that we bring to the table, but we are co-creating with those experience as a collective. So to all my people out there that are looking to shift that paradigm, hit us
yeah,
up. We're here. We're more than happy to help shift your mindset of like what other options or opportunity is out there, or who can I speak to out
yes,
there that can help me get my get let's say you're working as a creative, how do I get my art into the right hands
mhm,
so I can make this a lifestyle where where it's like where they say work is not work when you're doing something that you're really passionate about. That's the time that we're living in, and we have it at our fingertips at the moment.
we absolutely do. I love how you like,
Mhm.
guys, get up into the comments and talk to us about like we can help you out with some mindset shifting, and like also we are accepting donations now to support Frankie's podcast network and all of the adventures that we are on. So if you guys enjoy this content, get in our comments below, send us some love bubbles. We will so appreciate you for it. Stay
Mhm.
tuned for more content because you'll learn more about our origin stories, meet more of our fun friends, and join this frequency band with us where we will create the next human evolution.
Yes, man. Yes, Haley, that was perfectly said, girlfriend. Love that.
Hey, Max, I've had so much fun here on this Vynora Effect podcast,
Yeah.
like mini-sode that we've done. I'm excited to do more of these with you. Like,
Yes.
girl, this is where it's at. Hanging out, doing the thing, talking the stuff, and like, let's get the peeps and bring them in. Guys, tell us your thoughts because we need to know. We are gathering data in the field.
We are. Yes. Please, please bring us all the data so we can help crack the code.
Yeah, guys, let's break the matrix together. It'll be more fun.
Yes, exactly. And the more that we come together to break out the matrix, the more successful we can be at getting that done, right?
Hey, I'm here for it. That's the Vynora effect. Like, what happens when you hang out with Frankie and Vynora? Your matrix breaks in the best kind of way. So come and join us,
Yeah.
friends.
Come on down, y'all.
Come on down. Hey, Max, I love you so much, sis. This has been
Love
so
you
much
too,
fun.
girly. Yes. I love our little talks, but on the serious note, as our successful beings, being a woman, we are here to support other women, support other humans. We want to hear your stories. You guys are more than welcome. Listen to the links below. Please hit us up on LinkedIn, Frankie's Podcast Network, The Vynora Effect. We are here to support and we are here to change the paradigm. We can do it together.
We can do it together. Y'all join us. Thank you. Thank you, Amax. Thank you. You've been great.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care, y'all. See you next week.
See you next time.